Hey y'all, this YouTube channel is about homicide and hookah with a little bit of horror. That's why I smoke my hookah and I tell you about some homicide, or I'm gonna tell you about something that's horrifying. But today I'm not smoking my hookah, baby, because I got a lot to do and I ain't gonna cap. I really do want to drop this story because I told y'all I was gonna drop it, so I gotta do what I said I'm gonna do. So today I'm just smoking my vape. So today's episode is about homicide and vaping with a little bit of horror. That's why I smoke my vape and I tell you about some homicide, or I tell you about something that's horrifying. So let's get into it. So today I ain't gonna run my mouth because we gotta get into this story for real, because this story gonna have you like, bitch. It's gonna have you on the edge of your seat and you gonna be wondering like, who the fuck sits back and think of shit like this? So let's get into it. So we're gonna start this story off in 1986 with a woman by the name of Sharon Marshall. Now, when Sharon Marshall was in high school, she was a good student. She was in the ROTC program. She got a full ride to college, and her dream was to work with NASA. But she then found out that she was pregnant. Therefore, her dreams of going to college, she just didn't complete them. She finds out she pregnant and she ended up not telling the baby daddy. Then she also gives the child away to a wealthy family in Texas. She moves to Florida with a man by the name of Frank Floyd. She meets another man though, gets pregnant again. Don't tell him that she's pregnant, but she decides to keep this baby and name him Michael. Now, Frank and Sharon, they decide to raise Michael together. Frank was a painter, but it was said that he had a bad back, so he really just couldn't do too much for the family, because with a bad back, you really can't even work. So Shannon ended up going to the strip club and becoming a dancer, and they got on welfare. Now, at the club, Sharon met a friend by the name of Cheryl. And y'all, if I get tongue-tied by saying Sharon and Cheryl so many times, I apologize in advance. But anyways, so Sharon meets a friend in the club named Cheryl. And it was said that Cheryl and Frank really didn't get along. However, they had a brief relationship. Now, one day, Cheryl, Shannon, and Frank go on a trip. And on the trip, Cheryl and Frank get into an altercation or argument, which caused Cheryl to go back and tell the welfare people that she was lying about getting welfare. She was hiding the correct amount of money that she was really getting from the club. She wasn't telling them like what she was making. Therefore, Sharon and Frank lost their welfare. So Frank takes his ass to the club, confronts Cheryl, and then punch her in the damn face. I mean, like, damn, is welfare really that serious? Like, baby, don't come to my job and confront me. Then you want to fight me at my job? Like, come on, man. Now, a couple of days, Cheryl was supposed to go on a trip with a friend, or was supposed to, like, meet a friend out of town or whatever. And she was supposed to let her daddy know when she made it. Cheryl never let her daddy know that she made it, so her daddy called the police. And they searched for Cheryl. They found her car at the airport. Now, Frank and Shannon become persons of interest, but it really wasn't no concrete evidence to like say, oh, you did something to her. So without there being no concrete evidence, they can go on about they merry little way. And that they did. They packed their shit up and they moved. And then they changed their names. So now they in Oklahoma. And Shannon goes to another strip club where the people liked her. I guess she just was a likable girl. The people liked her, but they didn't like Frank. So I guess she was a likable girl and Frank was an unlikable man. And Frank gets into an altercation at this new club with a whole nother woman. Like, sir, why are you arguing with strippers? Like, what are you doing? And then I thought you had a bad back. Why you at the club arguing and you got a bad back? If you can argue, you can go get some money. But due to you having a bad back, you couldn't even provide for your family. But you got enough energy to come to the club and argue. Or whatever. So the woman who he getting in the altercation with at this new club, she tells Sharon, like, you need to leave him. He replies, if she ever left me, I killed the bitch. Excuse me? Sir, off that statement alone, I'm leaving your ass. Like, the fuck? Don't threaten me to leave you. Because I'm finna go. But little did he know, Sharon was finna go with a man that she met in the club. But she was afraid of what Frank would do to her and her son, Michael. But a couple of days later, Sharon was found on the side of the road unconscious. It looked like she was in a hit and run accident. So they took her to the hospital and she started recovering good, recovering fast. Her friends visited her and was like she was just doing good. Frank terminates them from visiting her. No reason why. He just felt like, you can't come. Then, 5 days later, she's dead. And everybody kind of suspicious. Even the doctors were suspicious because they like, I can kind of rule it as a homicide because the injuries due to her body was not her being like in a hit and run accident. It was almost as if she was ran over by a car, not in the car and then a car hit another car, as if her body was outside and a car ran her over. But they couldn't get evidence to like charge him for murder or charge him from like running her over, number one, and for her dying in the hospital 5 days from her coming there. Now, since they was married, he called so he can collect that life insurance. That $80,000 life insurance he wanted to collect that he had put out a couple of days ago from her getting ran over. Now, y'all know I said he had changed his name. I'm not really sure what name he was going by at the time of this accident. But when he called the life insurance policy, he was giving them all these names, but none of them matched his social security number. So when he finally gave him the name of Frank Floyd, it matched. But with it matching, his criminal history also came up. When he was 19, he abducted and abused a 4-year-old. He was gonna be in jail for 10 to 20 years. They put him in a mental hospital. He then escapes from the mental hospital, steals a car, and robs a bank. Then, it's always a then, he goes to another gas station to try to abduct a woman. And so, when they find him, they bring him back to Georgia because once he gave that life insurance policy his name, the FBI put out a warrant for his arrest. They found him in Georgia and they bring him back. They found him and bring him back to Georgia from Oklahoma. And now he's serving out the rest of his time from years ago. Now, while he in jail, he want to see Michael because, he was living with Sharon and Michael. He was raising Michael and he want to see Michael. But Michael was not acting, I guess, in a way that they felt that he should. So they decided to do a DNA test. The DNA test come back that Frank is not Michael's son. And I told y'all that in the beginning. Frank ain't even Michael's daddy. But when Frank gets released from jail, and first of all, I don't even know why the hell they released him. You really was doing too much, honestly. But they released him. So when he get released from jail, he goes to Michael's adoptive parents and stalks him. Then goes to Michael's school with a gun, threaten and demand the principal to give him Michael, and the principal did. Frank demands the principal to take him and Michael to an unknown location. Frank ties up the principal to a tree, steals his car, and takes off with Michael. They end up finding Frank in Kentucky, but where Michael at? Michael's whereabouts are unknown. Now, in 1995, somehow some remains come up. They find some remains and they're not really sure who remains these are. Later on in 95, a man buys a car from a car auction, and in the car he see that his pictures in there. He turns them in, and it was a wound on the cheek of the woman in the pictures, and it matched the wound on the cheek of the skeleton remains. Turns out the skeleton remains was Cheryl. Yeah, the Cheryl that was supposed to be going to go see a friend that never called her daddy. The Cheryl who car they found at the airport. The Cheryl that Frank went to the club to go fight. Yeah, that's Cheryl. Now, the car that they found these pictures in, it had been in Mike's possession in the past because he stole it. Now, Michael gets convicted. Frank. Frank gets convicted for kidnapping or abducting Michael and gets served to 52 years. He gets charged with Cheryl's murder and is sentenced to death. Now, I know y'all thinking that's where I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is the end of the story. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you when I see you. No, bitch. This is not. This ain't even the end of the story. It was 97 photos in that cough. So they still going through the photos, and they did see it's a photo of Frank abusing a young girl. So they wondering, okay, like, who is this young girl? And they started to dig. And bitch, if I was the police, I would have I even started digging in this damn case, because once they started to dig, they found exactly what they was looking for. They found out in 1997, Frank got married to a woman. I said 1997. I meant 1970. I mean, it's still kind of the same because it's the 70s. But anyways, they found out in the past that Frank was married to a woman by the name of Sandy. But at the time, he was going by the name of Brandon. Told you, this man had a lot of names. He was going by the name of Brandon. So Sandy didn't know his past. Now, Sandy kind of had a little past herself, and she ended up getting locked up for a month for passing bad checks. Once she get out of jail, she returns home only to find that all her shit is gone, including her kids. For years, she was searching for all four of her kids: Amy, Allison, Suzanne, and Philip. Luckily, she was able to find Amy and Allison. Philip came forward, got a DNA test, and it was a match that he was her son. But everybody was wondering, where was Suzanne? Turns out, while she was in jail, Frank, aka Brandon, really her husband, but Frank Floyd, he was going by Brandon at the time. While she was in jail, Frank took her kids, divided them up into different group homes, but he kept Suzanne. Kept Suzanne and raised her as his own. Told everybody that he saved her from her family that abandoned her and changed her name to Tanya. But later on in high school, somehow her name became Sharon. Yes, bitch. Sharon is Suzanne. Suzanne is Sharon. So this man married Sandy in the 70s. Split her kids up while she was in jail for a month. Split her kids up. Kept one. Raised her as his own. Then changed her name twice. Then married her and possibly killed her. Sir, what the fuck? Sir, what the fuck? Yeah, when I heard this story, I just was like, this some shit you can't make up. I mean, like, this shit deeper than the Goosebumps novel. Like, what is you doing? Who steals people kids? Number one, split them up, raise one of them, and then make them your wife? Like, her mama was your wife. Who does that? And then, not to mention, after you made this woman your wife, you possibly killed her by running her over with a car. Years later, you then stalked her son and abducted him from school. So, yeah, in 2014, yes, like recently almost, in 2014, Frank admits to shooting Michael. I mean, which we probably already knew that much. But Frank admits to shooting Michael. Until this day, yeah, he was on death row for killing Cheryl, but till this day, he still does not admit to killing Sharon, and he still ain't been convicted for killing Sharon. So, y'all, finally, I can say that this is the end of this story. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And when I say this story gave me a headache, like when I seen this story, I just was like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Like, who does that? But also, y'all, too, I was finna end the video till I just glanced over. I forgot that I got me an Etsy store now. I got me an Etsy store. I have me a Etsy store, and well, I had to show out. Here it is. Okay, I got me an Etsy store, and if you get on Etsy and just search Homicide Hookah, you're gonna see me. And I got this little Crime Junkies t-shirt. I have some Crime Junkies stickers, and I have a couple of other shirts on there. So please check out my Etsy store. Hopefully I'm gonna leave the link if I don't forget, because I forget a lot of stuff. But y'all, now this is the end of the story of the man who abducted his wife's kids, raised one of them as his own, then changed her name twice, married her, possibly killed her, which we all know he did, but possibly killed her, then stalked and abducted her son, and later on killed him. This ain't no shit you can make up. This ain't no shit you can make up. But again, y'all, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And please check out my Etsy store. That's Homicide Hookah, all together, no spaces. And I'll see y'all later. And when I come back, the hookah will be back. And y'all know how I act when I be able to smoke my hookah again in my videos. But again, see y'all later. Bye-bye.